Have you ever noticed how sometimes the deepest philosophical insights about life, about agency, creation, destiny, they don't always come from these ancient, heavy texts?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it's just a song, right?
Exactly, like maybe a 3-minute song.
Ah.
And that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at the lyrics of We Write Our Own Music by Alison McLean.
And it's more than just poetry, isn't it? It feels like a blueprint.
It really does. A detailed metaphor for, well, for how we construct reality. These lyrics offer this pretty startling perspective that the life you're experiencing right now
Mm-hmm.
is a direct manifestation of your internal state, like a composition.
A composition, yeah. I like that.
So our mission in this deep dive is basically to unpack the core mechanics here. Specifically, how our internal dream state acts as the conductor for our external day-to-day reality.
Okay.
We're going to try and figure out what it truly means to be the composer of your own existence. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, the first thing that jumps out, I think, is just the sheer clarity of the central idea. It completely rejects this notion that reality is just fixed, something we just exist in.
Like we're just renters.
Exactly. Instead, it's framed as something realized, something you compose, something you orchestrate.
Orchestrate. That's a key word here.
It is. And, the most defining line in the source material really sets the stage. It says, everything we experience is defined as the lyrics of our dream.
Wow. Okay, that kind of shifts the ground immediately, doesn't it?
It really does.
If reality is the lyrics of our dream, it means our subjectivity, our internal world. It's not just a factor. It's the whole engine.
Right. It's primary.
And the lyrics move pretty quickly from that big idea to something more tangible, giving us tools to actually analyze this creative process.
Precisely. Because if you're going to compose your reality, you need an instrument, right, and a way to play it.
Makes sense.
And the lyrics lay this structure out perfectly. Life itself, that's defined as a keyboard.
The keyboard, okay, so that's the structure, the instrument we're playing on.
That's the instrument, yeah, the framework for the composition.
Okay, so if life is the hardware, the keyboard, the really fascinating choice the lyrics make is defining what we play it with. The input.
Which is?
Our emotions. They're literally called the keys.
And this is where the piece's philosophy really crystallizes, I think.
How so?
Well, if life is the keyboard and our emotions are the keys, then our being, who we are, is the music in that we create.
The music we create.
Yeah. It's this elegant kind of closed system. It tells you that controlling your emotional state isn't just about feeling better,
Hey, it's more fundamental.
It's direct access to composing the actual notes of your lived experience. The melody of your life is determined by which emotional keys you choose to press.
Hold on, though. Why emotions? Why wouldn't the keys be like logic or our conscious thoughts or even just our actions? If I want a better life, shouldn't I just focus on, doing better things?
That's a great question, and that's the critical insight here, I think. Logic and action, maybe they're like the sheet music, the plan. But emotion is the pressure you apply to the key. It's the energy, the vibration that actually makes the sound.
Ah, I see.
So the source implies that the quality, the nature of your reality, stems from the underlying emotional frequency you're putting out.
So even if I'm logically planning for success, if I'm constantly hitting the worry key,
the music your being creates will reflect that worry. That's the idea. It kind of overshadows the plan.
okay, that leaves no room for just being a passive listener then.
None at all. Once you accept this equation, life as keyboard, emotions as keys, the immediate action is undeniable. The lyrics say, life itself, therefore, is just a dance we orchestrate.
A dance we orchestrate. So you're not just in the dance.
You're the choreographer, the musician, and the lead dancer.
Yeah.
All at once.
Okay. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So if those are the instruments, the keyboard and keys,
Mm-hmm.
how do we actually start playing? How do we compose?
Right. That shifts us from the components to the action, the composition itself.
And the lyrics guide us there too, right? As we sit at our piano orchestrating our scene.
Exactly. Orchestrating our scene.
That scene being our external reality. And it implies this conscious, ongoing process. So for you listening, what does it practically mean to orchestrate your scene every day?
Well, orchestration in this context seems to be about conscious decision-making based on the keys available your emotions.
So choosing which key to hit.
Actively composing the day by deciding which tone, which emotional state you're going to bring to things, to that meeting, to that challenge, whatever it is.
Like deciding to hit the patience key instead of the frustration key when something gets delayed?
Precisely that. It's an active choice of frequency.
Okay, that sounds like, well, it sounds like a lot of deliberate work, a lot of intense mental control.
It can seem that way.
But then the lyrics introduce this really interesting twist right after talking about active composition. There's this whisper of blind faith.
Yes, blind faith, which whispers in our ears a tune we don't often play.
That seems to almost contradict the idea of actively orchestrating everything.
Yeah.
If it's blind faith, how are we orchestrating?
It does seem like a contradiction, and I think that tension is actually central to the deeper meaning here.
Okay.
Active orchestration is the conscious effort. It's the practice, the setting of intention. But blind faith, that's maybe recognizing that the instrument itself, the keyboard of life, or perhaps the dream state that fuels it, it might be wiser than your conscious mind sometimes.
Ah, like intuition or flow.
Sort of. Think about a musician learning a complex piece. First, they orchestrate every single note very deliberately, thinking hard.
Right, focusing.
But a master musician, they enter a flow state. Their fingers just know the tune almost better than their conscious mind does. That subconscious, effortless knowledge, maybe that's the blind faith too.
The wisdom within the composition itself.
Exactly. It's a source of unseen guidance.
So the lyrics might be suggesting we need both. We need the active conscious direction, but we also need to be open to allow that spontaneous, trustworthy wisdom to bubble up.
Absolutely. It's a balance. And the result of embracing this deeper tune, this blind faith, that's framed as the ultimate reward. Following that whisper offers us the chance to embrace life once more, a dance where freedom plays.
Item. Okay.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the goal isn't just to compose a perfectly controlled reality. Maybe it's to compose a reality where freedom is the main characteristic.
And trusting that inner tune helps unlock that freedom. It liberates us from having to consciously control every single note, maybe.
That seems to be the implication. It lessens the stress of constant conscious effort.
Right. And the highest expression of this composed life is freedom. Which makes sense, because it all cycles back to that core idea reinforced in the chorus.
Which is?
We are realizing all in this reality are the lyrics of our dream. The dream isn't just fantasy, it's the blueprint for the freedom we are now composing into reality.
Beautifully put. The dream guides the dance of freedom.
Okay, so we have the instrument's keyboard, keys. We understand that composing both active orchestration and trusting blind faith. What happens when we look at the end of the score? The lyrics introduce this really profound paradox in the final composition. They claim perfection in every key,
Which sounds great.
but then immediately note that the music is composed in its own mysterious way. Perfection and mystery together.
Yeah, that definitely raises a question, doesn't it? Especially for the listener. If I compose this life and some parts feel really discordant or painful, how can it possibly be perfect?
Exactly. It feels like saying perfection just excuses all the notes I regret hitting. If I look back at choices that led to tough times, I certainly wouldn't call them perfect.
Right, and I don't think the source is saying the outcome is always good or pleasant in a conventional sense.
So what does perfect mean here?
I think it's suggesting the composition is perfect in its accuracy. It's a perfect reflection of the internal state, the keys pressed, the orchestration used that created it.
So perfect as in a flawless mirror.
Exactly. The physical existence that plays out is inherently perfect as a composition because it perfectly mirrors the emotional keys we struck and the way we orchestrated them, whether we did it consciously or unconsciously.
Okay, that makes more sense. It's perfect in its reflection, not necessarily in its subjective feel.
Right. And the mysterious way part, that just acknowledges the complexity. The mix of blind faith, conscious choices, past dreams, maybe even collective influences. We might not grasp the full harmony or how all the notes interact.
But the music playing is still the exact perfect expression of the keys that were played.
Precisely. And realizing that, accepting that, it forces us to see the composition as exactly what it should be, given the input.
That kind of acceptance is powerful, isn't it? It stops you blaming external forces, like saying, my piano's broken.
Yeah, or someone else wrote this terrible music.
And instead, it forces you, the composer, to really listen to the notes you yourself are playing. The learning comes back to you. And despite these huge themes, dreams, reality, composition, perfection, The lyrics bring it all right back down to earth at the end. They anchor the whole system firmly in the only moment we ever really have.
Which is...
The perfect, mysterious, orchestrated reality plays out as me, here, now, today.
Yes. That grounding is crucial. It takes this potentially very abstract idea of composing existence.
Yeah, it could feel overwhelming.
And makes it immediate, personal, active. It's the ultimate call to be present.
Because the composition only happens now. You can't hit a key yesterday.
Or tomorrow. Only now.
Only now.
And that final stanza really summarizes the cumulative effect, doesn't it? It's the feedback loop we've been tracing.
Right.
Every note played, every key struck, all of it is defined as.
The dance, the song we have created, that brought us to this day.
Right. Which means this present moment, the one you're in right now listening to this, it's the direct, inescapable result of all your past composition, your past actions, your past emotional states.
Wow. Okay. So let's try and synthesize this for you, the composer listening right now. What does this all mean? We've unpacked a pretty clear framework from these lyrics.
Yeah, it seems like life is your musical being.
Right. Your emotions are the essential keys you play it with.
And the goal, maybe, is an orchestrated dance where freedom leads the way.
It's this continuous, cyclical, creative process, always happening, always anchored right here, right now.
And if the source material really forces you to acknowledge that everything that brought you to this day was the inevitable result of the song you created.
Your chosen keys, your orchestration, conscious or not.
Then the final provocation we want to leave you with kind of builds on that awareness.
Okay, what is it?
Well, if the present moment is the music playing, and you can actually listen to it right now, does simply hearing the music you are currently writing, does that awareness change the very next key you choose to play?
Does conscious awareness of the sound you're making now alter the composition of the next moment?
Does listening change the playing?
The power lies right there, at the keyboard. Something to think about. Consider the score you are writing right now.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.